Hello, everybody, and thank you once again for joining me. 11 kilometers per second, the speed at which something must move to escape Earth's gravity, which means the speed at which you must move to escape the things that hold you down and soar amongst the stars. So there's a book that I read called So Good They Can't Ignore You. Recommend it. I sent it to my niece and my nephew. Had the kids read it because, and this is the thing that I feel like this is one of the things. There's the mindset, but it is a big thing, I think, in our community, Black community, is that we are not focused on craftsmanship. What is craftsmanship? Like doing shit, like making work and art. There is this show on Netflix called The Blue-Eyed Samurai. And, without trying to spoil it, there is a part where a sword maker talks about, the different things that could be in art. Like one of them was being an assassin. Like you can be an assassin and make an art of it. Obviously, like, the sword play.
I did not train you to be a demon or a human. I showed you how to be an artist.
Painting.
Isn't it said?
And calligraphy and every other useless art.
To master the way of battle, one must become acquainted with every art.
You think revenge is an art?
Sex, an art.
Swords, pots, needles, death. It is all the same to an artist.
But everything that you do, you can make an art of it. And make it beautiful in the sense that you are taking the time to pursue perfection in the craft, perfection in the work. And it's not just to hurry up and make money. It's not just to hurry up and look good, but it's to constantly be pursuing perfection. Even if it's not attainable, it's like, what I'm going to do is try to be better every time. And this is why they tell you, like, a lot of these things that people tell you don't resonate because we don't truly, we haven't come to the experience and can't really have a reference point. It's just abstract things that people are saying. When they say to love something, do something you love, and that way you never work again. You're going to work. Right? You're going to work. That's just trash. There's elements of anything that you do that's going to be considered work. But the reason they say this is because when you're like, if you just recall back to something that you were doing, a project that you were working on, that you were excited about, that invigorated you and everything like that. And every piece of it, as you were thinking about it, was like, how do I tweak it? How do I do this? And it was like you're going to bed and you're thinking about it. You wake up and you're like, here's some things that I think I can do about that. That's where you want to get. And if you love it, obviously, then you can get there. But that's not where to start. And this is what this book is talking about, where it's like everybody is sitting here focused on like passion. Nah, passion is not it. Passion, don't start with passion. Start with getting good, right? And whatever. Like if you can't find if you find your passion, and you're like, this is it. This is what's working. Continue. Let me tell you like this. Especially, this is why we're giving this advice to kids. It's like you got at 17, you're supposed to be like picking your life, career, and shit like that, and like go to school and get majors and all that good stuff. I mean, I don't know that there is any other way to do it. You have to pick a direction and start moving in that direction. But it does not have to be your passion. It's like, if you haven't found it yet, it's completely all right. What you want to do is build what he called career capital, which is, you are working and you're doing well. In that point, you're treating it as if you loved it. And what I mean by as if you love it is you're treating it like you're pursuing perfection in it. And, what that means is, how can I continuously make this better? How much can I do? Not just what's the minimum, but if I love this, what would I be doing? What kind of things would I do in extra for it? Not, okay, they said to do this, I did it, now off to partying. Like, what else can I be thinking about? Can I be learning more about this thing? Can I spend extra time Googling, researching, because I'm trying to perfect it? What else are other people doing? Going to talk to other people who have done the same kind of thing. These are the types of stuff that you do when you truly love something. And if you're doing that first and foremost, like, you'll notice. People will notice, because not everybody, most people aren't doing that. And so that's one thing. Like, if you focus on making it better, there are two things that are possible with respect to this, right? After you've done a great job, you'll have a reputation and decide, okay, this is not for you, but you'll also have built the stamina and also the habit of doing something well and knowing what it takes to do something well, even if you don't love it. And then you can take that to something that you actually love, the same concept, the same idea of, okay, doing more research, doing more. What else can I do to pursue this perfection? You'll take that with you to something you love and be successful at it. Or you will find that you now love it because you've had a number of successes. The dopamines have hit. You're like, yo, I think I can actually do this well. And what he says is, once you've gotten to a point where you are that good, you start to get a level of autonomy, which is part of what people want. Right now, I can do things for myself. I can pursue whatever avenue, as opposed to being given this limited set of things that I need to deliver on. Because you have gotten to a point where you have built trust and people know you're good, now you can decide which direction you go, right? And so that is part of what makes us love it. That's why a lot of people actually go into their own businesses. You don't necessarily have to go into your own business. If you have built the kind of career capital and you have shown the kind of value where people will allow you to do your own thing. Hey, this man, he can get it done. And so this is where you said we should go. Let's go there. And that comes from craftsmanship. And so this is what I think, we should be trying to build. And as opposed to like, okay, we need to find passion. We need to be worried about, making the money. And part of doing that is chilling. Like, what do I mean by chilling? Like, take your time. Stop being in the rush to make money. Yes, I do know a lot of times, there are pressing bills that need to be paid. And I would say either get a job while you're working on your passion, if it happens to be your passion, or get a job where you can actually learn about your passion in a way that allows you to build that career capital. Once you have built that career capital, you've built that expertise, then you can become a boss, like I talked about in the previous one. Like, you understand the art of it. Like, and the reason why it's art is because there isn't a formula. Like, a formula is only for the people who do the grunt work. There isn't a formula, or I want to say yet, because AI may get to the point where they've figured out all the different factors and now they can give you the exact formula. But right now the factors are so much that you have to constantly be bobbing and weaving and responding, right? If you ever think about, like, there are people who teach guys how to be charismatic, or teach guys how to go and talk to women. And the truth is that, when you start off in the beginning, you're going to be clumsy and clunky because you have these rules and you're like, she says this, I could say this, whatever. But when you get to the level where it's an art, it's not even necessarily the words you say. It may be your tone, it may be your body language, it may be, how she says something and what your response should be at that point and whatever. And so art is that for anything that you get into. It's just constantly just shifts that nobody else can recognize, but you understand and know the nuances. And that's where you want to get. If you need money badly, go work for somebody and learn. And if you are in a situation where you're like, oh my God, I don't want to work for anybody right now, then be prepared to not be good long enough until you get good, because that's another option for you, right? Like, here's the thing. A lot of people, and especially in our community, but, maybe in other communities as well. I don't know enough about what y'all do. But especially in our community, you'll come in and you'll be like, all right, start to provide a service. And you're like, well, I have a ton of bills to pay, and so I'm going to charge you an arm and a leg. Well, the other parents are charging an arm and a leg. Well, they probably, if nothing else, especially if you're thinking about like clothes, for example, they're probably building it from the same factories. And so it costs the same, but they've done a great job marketing. Or they had enough money to do a great job marketing for somebody else to do a great job marketing. You're not there. You're not there. And yet you want us to go and buy your crap at I don't know how much, but like, you have not built that capital with us yet for you to be charging these prices. And so what you need to do first is get good. And so therefore you might have to charge less. And so therefore, if you need the money and you can't charge less, you might want to work for somebody else and get good. Because if you need the money and you're not good, people won't buy the shit. But if you need the money and you are good, then you'll get to the point where people will buy the stuff and product speaks for itself. iPhones, when the iPhone first came out, it spoke for itself. Like, the product speaks for itself. So does service. When you do a freaking banging ass job, it speaks for itself. It speaks volumes. It sells itself. And so that's one of the biggest things to marketing, is doing a good job, right? Because you get word of mouth. Obviously, you got to amplify that with good marketing, but it definitely helps to actually have a good product. That's not always the case. Some people have terrible product, but they do a great job marketing. But I mean, terrible is in the eyes of the beholder. If every single person was like giving it a 1-star review, I don't know if that, there's no marketing that's going to help that. So, any case, craftsmanship is something that we need to work on, meaning take your time to get good. Stop being in a rush to make it. Like when Mark Manson talked about people, they talked about 10 years of work to get there, failures and misery, 10 years of getting good. And the truth is that if you think about it, while you're going through it, it is hell. Like, when can I get done with this thing? Right? When can I get done with this thing? Like, all you're doing is seeing failures. You're not seeing anything. But then 10 years is going to go by one way or another. And so wherever you are at this point, 10 years from now, where do you want to be? The people around you can decide where they're going to be. And they're either going to see you 10 years from now as a person who has made it because they spent the time, energy, and effort to perfect their craft, or you're going to be right in the same situation, doing the same thing, talking about the same things, and competing on the same freaking levels, and taking your little trips and whatever the case may be, and soft life and all this other shit and all that other stuff, and posting your little things on Instagram. Sorry, but this is something that you have to do. And the truth is that shouldn't be the motivator, right? Like, where you're going to be. But that's going to be why shouldn't it be the motivator? That's going to be part 3. Where you are on Instagram shouldn't be the motivator. It is your craft that you should focus on ultimately. But more than your craft, it is on you. And so we'll discuss that in part 3.